So this video is going to be a very candid conversation. You might not like what I see. I'm overall still hopeful, and none of this is financial advice, obviously. NIO stock has been dropping quite hard recently, going down. We are approaching 52-week lows. We're at around $7.50-ish as of recording of this video. It's very unfortunate to see NIO's market cap right now at around $11 billion. I mean, this is very low compared to its all-time high of around $100 billion. That's when everybody was very optimistic about the future of NIO. That's when they just announced the ET7 with the LiDAR tech. Everybody was so amazed at the ET7. It was going to be such an amazing car, and it was just miles and miles ahead of everybody else. Future was bright, and everybody's thinking, wow. But obviously what happened, the ET7 was not delivered for more than a year and 3 months, basically. It took 1 year and 3 months to get that car delivered. They only started delivery of that in 2022, in March. Obviously, investors' patience were tested, and also during this whole entire time, a lot of competitors were able to catch up with their own products. You know, having NIO as a standard and seeing what NIO is offering and offer something similar and get to the market at around the same time or even earlier. Now, we've seen these problems since been fixed. The execution is much swifter now. But what seems to be gone is the investor optimism, right? Back then, everything seemed so nice, so great for the future. But now, as the stock price gets lower, we're seeing more people become very pessimistic about the future of NIO, even though NIO is doing very, very well. All right. And some of it could be also political, but we're not going to go into that in this video. OK, but you know, the truth is everybody's in pain. If you're holding NIO stock and you're down in your portfolio, I'm down. The NIO manager, he has a ton of NIO stock because he's one of the early employees. He gets NIO stock, bonus NIO stock every month, and he accumulated quite a lot of NIO stock. In the heyday, he was worth a lot, but now, obviously, not very good. Also very painful situation, but there's nothing that we can really do, all right? What happened has happened. But I want to offer some of my opinion about where we're going to be headed in the near future. A lot of people seem to be very disappointed with management. And some people think it's reckless spending in terms of R&D, the expansion into other countries, and the countless rounds of dilution that has washed away the value of our holdings. Now, despite the CEO and co-founder justifying this numerous times, and I've made videos about this, the purpose of those dilutions is to A, ensure that they have a clear path forward, and B, the cash burn, the money spent into R&D, they will see a direct return on results, because placing more infrastructure is investment and not just directly burning cash, burning money. It's not going down the drain. They're not like buying private jets or anything. But it seems like investors don't really care at this point. They're just people are just hurt. They're down, and they think that the future is not so bright for NIO at this current moment. And it's understandable. When the stock is very low, people seem to be very, very depressed about everything. Even NIO's CEO has said that right now they're in the bottom of the valley in terms of the stock price, and in the future they're going to get back to the peak. All right, and that is obviously his own price prediction. He thinks, of course, in the future we're going to get back up there. It's just a matter of time, because the entire market has gone from 5% EV penetration to now around 35% EV penetration in the span of 3 years since 2020. But in that period of time, all right, even though NIO's market share has been very solid, around 50% in the luxury EV market space, all right, and despite other people dying off and etc. But what we're seeing is a lot of other people have grown their market share at a faster pace than NIO. and a lot of newcomers coming into the market to essentially get more sales. Market share for the luxury EV space maintains solid, but it's mostly the 20,000, 200,000 to 300,000 area that we're seeing a massive increase in terms of EV penetration, and also below that. And people are also so concerned about sales numbers and thinking, why are we not all the way up there at those super high sales numbers? Because you got to think, NIO's vehicles are so expensive. All right, and you only get a full sense of this once you try to buy a NIO, or once you try to sell a NIO in the stores along with the sales reps, because it's such a huge purchase. You're forking out 300K upwards to 600K RMB per NIO. And if you want to get the ES8, even though this isn't an apples to apples comparison, all right, but they're all big SUVs. The Li Auto L9 Pro Max, they're all big family SUVs. Some people don't care. This one has a smaller battery and a gas tank and a generator. This one has a big battery and faster speed. So it's not an apples to apples comparison, but they are sort of competing for the same customers, all right? That car starts out at 459K. The ES8 starts out at 600K. Obviously, the ES8 is a much better car, but price-wise, all right, price-wise, there's a big difference. All I'm trying to say is that it's very difficult for customers to buy a NIO because of the expensiveness of it. So that means that whatever sales they're getting right now is actually very good because of the fact that it's so expensive. You don't expect something that's very expensive to sell a ton of, all right? But going forward, and if you go back in my videos a long time ago, and I got a lot of hate for this back then, back around this time last year, actually a little bit earlier. Yeah, it was around this time last year, October of 2022. I made the famous video, maybe not so famous, was it time to get out? Right, NIO stock to 5 or 15. And well, I guess I was proven wrong, because NIO stock got to 15 before getting to 5. But in that video, I did say the possibility of NIO stock going down to 5. And back then, the stock price was around 13. We got to around 7, rebounded obviously upwards to 16. Momentum was so nice, but we could not carry through. It gave it all back, and we are where we are right now. But I come back to this point, just because everybody is very pessimistic about the future for NIO doesn't mean that you should be pessimistic about the future of NIO. I'm still very optimistic about the future, especially with the possibilities of what this car can bring. And what you're seeing is a lot of those competitors getting wiped out. And I believe a lot of competitors will get wiped out. I think, and not financial advice, I believe fully that NIO will survive, all right? And I think the stock price getting lower and lower is just a blessing in disguise. You can get to buy the stock lower. Think about Apple stock when it was down in the gutters, when it was really low. People were all pessimistic about Apple. If you bought it back then, well, look where you'd be, right? Don't follow the herd mentality, all right? Don't follow the herd mentality. A product that sells really well right now does not mean it's going to sell really well 4 or 5 years down the line. And a company with a product that's selling decently well right now, aka NIO, does not mean that 4 or 5 years down the line they're going to die off. All right, this is what the scenario that investors' pessimism are placing upon NIO. 4 or 5 years down the line, it's just going to get even better because of the amount of swap stations. It's a big moat. I mean, like, we're still in the phase where people don't fully recognize battery swap yet. I have my friends over, and these are family friends, in this car. I think it's pretty nice. They're thinking about Li Auto, maybe get this car with Li Auto. But once I explain to them battery swap, and they look at the battery swap map, and back in their hometown, they got like 2 swap stations right next to their door. And then in the city, they got a ton of swap stations. On their way to Beijing, there's a ton of swap stations. Hell yeah. Why would you buy anything else, right? It's still in that phase where people don't understand what it is. I mean, people have a general good understanding of Tesla. And I think right now. People have a general good understanding of Li Auto actually right now. This is props to their marketing team. But right now, people do not have a good general understanding of battery swap. And NIO has not really placed out that much advertising or promotion or educational stuff towards that, because that is the killer feature. So the best thing for EVs has not been realized yet. People don't know about it. But imagine the day they do. Imagine the day when every single Tesla buyer knows about battery swap, knows about the advantages of battery swap, then they make a purchase decision. Because right now, most Tesla buyers might not even know NIO. Every NIO buyer knows about Tesla, right? Every single NIO owner knows about Tesla, what it's all about, the superchargers, etc. But it's not the other way around. We're just very close to unlocking the key of massive success, but the only barrier right now is people's ignorance towards battery swap. And I believe that if one day we see a video of battery swap being fully advertised on national TV, on like the main channels of national TV, then that will be a big signal. And of course, I'll make a video about that. And you guys know, boom, you know, this is a game changer. Everybody that's used a NIO likes a NIO, likes how convenient battery swap is and what it offers. We just need to get everybody in the whole world to know about this. And part of the way to do it is through aggressive infrastructure expansion of battery swap stations. But I think the missing link is the promotion part. All right, how to get people to know about this. That's what's really missing. And I know the marketing division of NIO watches my videos. I don't want to attack you guys or anything, but you know, some of the frontline NIO sales reps have complained that the marketing team needs to do a better job. All right. Hey, NIO's always open to criticism. That is their own personal criticism, also my criticism as well. And I think going forward, they got to really do the right things in terms of marketing. I mean, like back in April, they hired a racist photographer to do promotional photos of the ET5. I mean, those photos were fantastic. I'm sure if you put it in Europe, people will love it. But in China, people had really hated that photographer. And for NIO to not do the background research and just hire that photographer to do that job, basically, I don't want to blame this purely on that. But since then, the ET5 sales have dropped like crazy, starting in April. And the outrage was massive. They deleted that. They tried to erase it from memory. But I mean, like, the damage is done. And talking to some of these sales reps here in China, they were absolutely furious because they got customers that wanted to buy a NIO and canceled their orders because of the bullshit that the marketing team played out. All right. And the phrase they used is pulling on your back leg. It's like you're trying to walk forward and they're pulling you behind. But I'm sure NIO will not ever make that mistake again. But those mistakes are costly. How do we get the ET5 sales back? How do we get the reputation of the ET5 back? It seems like it has done irreversible damage. Hopefully time heals all wounds. Hopefully people forget about this as time goes on. I'm not trying to blame everything on the marketing team, but it seems like mistakes after mistakes after mistakes is just really getting to us investors. Man, can't we have something good go for us at once, at least? Get on national television, the big channels, not some of the small channels. Get on the big channels, promote battery swap, promote the hell out of battery swap. Place an ad there with a lady who couldn't get the charger out because it's so heavy, and then show her go get a battery swap. But yeah, that's not how NIO does things. There's a phrase that management likes to use. It's called 佛系, and I guess it's the right word for it is being a lot more polite and not aggressive, not attackful. But what you're seeing is we're in a dog-eat-dog kind of situation. The Li Auto sales reps, every day, they got to summarize 10 points of attack to attack other guys. 10 points to diss the other car companies and other vehicles. NIO's not doing any of that. Obviously, this is very, not, polite to do that. But you're in a dog-eat-dog situation. If you don't do that, you're not going to get the sales. So how long are you going to be polite for until you actually pull out the guns? There's no aggressiveness in NIO's marketing. I mean, even when NIO got first place in the Moose test for the ES6, you should be promoting the hell out of that. You should let people know that you're number one. The other car that you wanted to buy is ranked number 20th, ranked 50th on the Moose test. You sure you want to get that car? But no, you just had one promotion for that thing. Not even well, you had one video, but that was it. That was it. Most people don't even know about that now. And these, which is D cars, summer test, they've concluded that the ES6 was the best car to buy in this whole entire test. Out of all the cars, the number one car. NIO didn't promote that. NIO didn't promote that. NIO should be promoting the hell out of that. There should be billboards everywhere inside the stores, posters saying D-Car said this is the number one best car to buy in their summer testing. Out of all the things that they tested, whether it's braking, acceleration, AEB, summer performance, range, but no, we're not gonna show off. We're not gonna pretend we're the best. We are the best, but we're just gonna be quiet and let the sales go to the other guys. We're getting a little bit sidetracked, but I think it's just a blessing in disguise. Trying to be positive, it's all a blessing in disguise. My long-term target, still triple digits. Short-term target, we're probably going to go to 5, all right? Probably going to go to 5. It looks like we're heading to 5. We're in the direction of getting to 5. We might even go lower than that. And it's not me against the stock. It's not me against the company. I'm not shorting the stock. I'm in the stores trying to sell NIOs. I actually spent my own money buying loot boxes to give to customers to get them to test drive the car and buy a NIO. I'm trying my best, guys. I make Chinese videos trying to sell NIOs here in China on like 3-4 different platforms. Bilibili, Little Red Book, which is like Instagram, on WeChat as well, on Weibo, which is like Twitter here in China. 4 different platforms I post my videos, try to promote NIO to get people to buy the car. It does work. Some of them get tens of thousands of views, 30,000 views. But hey, I'm trying my best. But the reality of it is, we might be heading down to 5. We might be heading down to 3. But obviously, don't sell there. Well, not in my opinion. I wouldn't sell there. I would buy there. All right? The future is bright, in my opinion, but people don't know about it. People are oblivious to it, oblivious to battery swap. Shit. Enough of me for today. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.